Welcome to Science Goes to the Movies, a look at the stories of science and how they change our culture. I'm Lisa Beth Kovetz. So, Dune. So much to talk about, and we've decided to dive into the ornithopters. Our guest, Professor Jane Wang of the Sibley School of Mechanical and Aerospace Engineering at Cornell, has a special interest in insect flight, and dragonflies in particular, so here we go. Jane, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Lisa, for having me.
In the movie, we see the ornithopters glide and dive and hover in seamless transitions between methods of flight, which they can do because CGI. In real dragonflies, is that possible, and why is it remarkable?
Yes, absolutely. Dragonflies are aerial acrobats, so they can do all of the above and perhaps more. They are remarkable because humans are yet able to do that.
They're remarkable because they're better than us?
They're remarkable. For any animals to be able to fly is remarkable because we, as you know, are bound to Earth and due to gravity. All of us are subject to the pull of gravity. And so in order to take off, they need to, first of all, discover ways to move their wings so they can generate enough aerodynamic forces to balance their weight. And moreover, it's an incredibly energetically costly locomotion. And so throughout the evolution, they managed to discover very efficient ways of doing them. And so I think it's their graceful movement. Doing this incredibly energetically costly locomotion is what makes them remarkable.
In the movie, we see the fictional machines drop into free fall dives, then right themselves. And I think I've seen real dragonflies in my garden do the same. But how does an insect right itself out of a free fall dive?
Yes, they have many tricks. So one of the recent works that we've been doing is precisely trying to investigate that. We drop a dragonfly falling upside down and see how they right themselves. And every time they manage to right themselves within 200 milliseconds. And what they do is they modulate their wing pitch, so they flap their wings, and they can modulate their wing pitch such that they roll the body 180 degrees to right themselves.
In a millisecond?
In about 200 milliseconds.
In designing the fictional machines to look like dragonflies, the VFX director created a vehicle with multiple pairs of wings on either side. Are dragonflies unique in having two pairs of wings, and is the physics of these two sets of wings very different?
So many insects have two sets of wings. They're siblings. Damselfly, which look very much like a dragonfly, except slender, has a slender body. They also have two sets of wings. And also butterflies, of course, have two sets of wings, but they're very different from dragonflies in the sense the fore and hind wings, in the case of butterfly, are co-moving. There's a little hook between the front and back, so they don't move independently. But dragonflies and damselfly can flap their wings independently.
And is that where it changes the physics, that it gives them the physics of the two sets, the separate sets, changes the physics of how they fly?
Okay, so the physics part, so there's an interesting part about physics in terms of governing the fore and hind wing interaction. So next time when you're on the pond and you see dragonfly, they often do hovering. And if you look them closely, you might be able to see that the fore wings and hind wings doing counterbeat. So one goes down, one goes up, and one goes. So the question is why? And one physical mechanism has to do with the aerodynamic interaction between the fore and hind wing. So when the fore wings pushing down, the air is going to move around. And if this wing is riding with that air, it can benefit from what the forewing is doing. So that actually helps save quite a bit of energy. But if it's moving downward as the forewing is also moving downward, it's going to pushing on a rising air. So it's going to help it to generate a little bit more force. So they can actually modulate the phase depending on whether they want to save energy or generate more force.
So let me just make sure I understand. It's as if the insect can generate its own backdraft or updraft or whatever else it needs. Wow.
Yeah.
On that tiny little brain.
Yes, that's another remarkable thing, which is all of these extraordinary maneuvers are indeed the pilot is that little brain there, which weighs nearly nothing, a few milligrams.
Yes. It was interesting in your paper, you wrote that these two pairs of wings represent their ancient origins.
Okay, so dragonflies and damselflies, which I mentioned before, they are one of the most ancient insects in the sense that they emerged around 350 million years ago, and they're still with us. And
Okay, so but when we see that in the movies, because whenever you go into some Jurassic movie, there's a giant dragonfly.
Yeah.
What were they? Were they
Giant?
this big, or were they?
yes, that's another mystery, in fact. In other words, yes, there are records, fossil records of giant dragonflies, and they're relative of the modern dragonflies, but indeed their forms look very much like dragonflies. And
Wow.
the question is, were they gliding or flying? We only have fossil records, but I speculate they in fact could fly. So the giant dragonfly preceded the dragonflies we see today. And indeed, these four-winged insects are of ancient form.
Refusing to report the Harkonnen sabotage of a rescue vehicle, the Imperial ecologist Dr. Liette Hines, played by Sharon Duncan Brewster, tells Duke Leto that the desert isn't kind to equipment, and yet those Atreides ornithopters have large, fairly rigid wings that beat constantly against the sand-filled air. If the fictional world of Dune had real-world physics, would those big, rigid wings be beat to death by normal daily functions?
Well, it would certainly be hard on them. And what's more problematic is probably it's hard on their shoulders, on their joints. They go back and forth. It's a massive wing and lots of centrifugal forces, and would like to turn that wing away from the joints. And,
Which is how it happens in the movie.
Exactly. So
Did they call you?
it just happened because it's physics.
Are real dragonfly wings rigid or flexible?
Well, they are slightly flexible. And in fact, if you look them very carefully under, say, high-speed video camera, and you can see traveling of a torsional wave from the wingtip to the wing root when they pitch their wing.
Oh, really?
And that torsional wave actually was a clue to us that, again, when they flap their wings in air, they take advantage of their interaction with air. So they allow the air to help them, their rotation. So they're clever creatures. But what is also it's remarkable is that they're actually exceptionally rigid given how thin they are. Sort of few microns and to a couple of layers of cells, and they managed to create a fairly rigid wing just with the few stiff veins. And so I think it's another very, I guess, extraordinary engineering feat to create these functional wings without breaking their joints nor breaking their wings with such a light material.
They're quite beautiful also.
Absolutely.
When Paul and his mother Jessica make their escape, they fly into a sandstorm, and the 8 wings of their ornithopter are pulled off by the wind one by one. In real life, can an insect compensate for the loss of a wing, or is that a death sentence?
Yes, they can compensate. And I've seen insects flying with damaged wings or cut wings or partial wings. And I think it's a fairly generic principle in all living organisms. They're robust creatures. So they're prepared for life's uncertainties, and they have very robust control algorithms to compensate them. And usually they have more than one control system and allow them to deal with these kinds of, threats in life.
Because we see that in the garden. We see a dragonfly with a damaged wing, and I don't feel so bad anymore.
They should, yeah. So, and the other thing is, a dragonfly can lift at least twice its weight. So with a damaged wing, if they flap a little harder, they in principle can still lift off.
Well,
yeah.
Reading your work, I kept seeing references to the Navier-Stokes equation and Newton-Euler's equation, which are two different things. So let's hit it in two parts. And first, what are the Navier-Stokes equations, and how do equations that are ostensibly about fluids apply to things that are flying through the air?
Yes, excellent question, and I'm so glad you're asking about equations. Navier-Stokes equation. So Navier and the Stokes, fluid mechanicians, two fluid mechanicians, one French, one English. It's the equation that governs airflows around the wing. It's the secret to flight. Without air, of course, they cannot fly.
So air, there's a fluid quality to air?
So, okay, so now I understand. So, yeah, normally in our colloquial language, we think of water as fluid. But air and water are the same thing. In terms of physical property, iced air is about 3 orders of magnitude less dense than water, as we know. And another quantity, which is called viscosity, kinematic viscosity, which describes the friction between, say, two pieces of fluid moving relative to each other. Air actually has a slightly higher viscosity, kinematic viscosity. So when I say fluid, I mean both liquid and air, and a gas. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay, and how does so Navier-Stokes applies to flying because air has a fluid capacity to it, or a fluid.
It is fluid. Air is fluid.
Jane, what?
Air is fluid. Yes.
So okay, so air
flows. Air flows. You see.
The colloquialism is not fluid as in it's a liquid, but flows. Air,
exactly. It's movement. It's the movement. It's
the nature of the movement.
Correct. Yes. Yes.
Got it. Okay, so then, so that's why that's why it applies to air, because the air then is moving across the wings.
Yes. So that's how they generate forces in order to balance weight or accelerate or turn. And it's a fascinating subject, and it's enormously confusing too. And the reason it's confusing is we actually don't have a ready solution. We don't have a quick solution about the airflow, on the airflow when it interacts with a moving wing.
Because there are too many variables, or because there's just not enough research?
There are too many variables. So let me give you a physical intuition. So when the wing, let's say, is slicing through the air or pushing down it, so what it does to its surrounding is it pushes the air around it, and these air pushes the air next to it. So you can imagine you break this air into infinite little pieces, and all of them are moving, and they're interacting with the neighbors. Each of them obeys Newton's law, or law of mechanics, but they all have to coordinate such that they will give ways, first of all, give ways to the wing so the wing moves forward. But interesting things happen when you have an infinite number of particles or air molecules interacting. And this is indeed one of the most strange puzzles that had to be figured out in the earlier days of flight, and to understand why an airplane wing, when it's slicing through the air at a small angle of attack, it can generate such a high lift. And that was the puzzle, which is now called classical aerodynamics. And I won't get into it, but
you'll have to come back. So how does the Navier-Stokes equation tell us what does it tell us what can and cannot fly?
Yes, it does.
And where does Newton-Euler's fit in?
Okay, Newton-Euler refers to another aspect of flight, which is the gymnasts, when they do their somersaults and so on, and the Newton-Euler equation is part of it. And a person walking in space, or they turn themselves by waving their arms, doing these strange things to allow the body rotate, and that's governed by Newton-Euler equations, meaning that it couples the wing movement, in our case, it couples the motion of the wing to the motion of the body. So if the wing flaps forward, the body may respond by leaning back. And this coupling is given by Newton-Euler equation.
Okay, so now I see why it's so complicated. You have an awful lot going on when something
Flying.
flies, yes.
Absolutely.
Either flying as a gymnast momentarily airborne,
Yeah.
or flying as an insect or
Yeah.
of an airplane that's airborne for a long time. That's a lot, Jane.
Okay. You asked about equations.
In the movie, there are wonderful, loving shots of the fictional ornithopters, wings flapping madly until they're lifted up off the ground. Is that what happens in their natural counterparts? Do dragonflies flap, 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 and take off?
Oh, they do that much quicker. Yes. In fact, when they take off, it almost takes no time. And just a couple of wing beats, they'll be gone. In other words, that's also what makes it very difficult to catch them.
Yes. So these machines that we saw, they beat, and it was cinematically exciting. So there's a value there. But those machines were huge, and whereas the dragonfly is very small and light, so just a few flaps get to going.
That's one way to think about it, exactly. And big birds, by the way, you've seen them. They would flap, flap, flap before they take off. So it does have to do with size, so you are correct.
In his notebooks, Da Vinci imagined human flight in a machine that flapped or screwed through the air, but since the Wright brothers, almost all of our real-life airplanes fly with a fixed wing. What do we lose in steady flight versus flapping, and what do we gain?
What do we gain is efficiency. So at very high speed, the airplane slides through the air, and it's an incredibly efficient way to travel because it generates a lot of lift compared to drag, which is opposing its motion. In fact, some of the sailplanes, the best sailplanes, they have a lift-to-drag ratio on the order of hundreds. And so, in other words, it's incredibly efficient. And that's, in fact, why global traveling is possible. Now, what it loses is maneuverability. So a plane cannot turn on its dime.
Right.
And even in the most impressive air shows, they do all these incredibly complex maneuvers, but it takes a while for them to come back.
Right.
So they can't really do a quick, saccades, for example. I'm facing you and I want to go left.
Right.
And if I'm a person, when I stop, I can do that. And a dragonfly, when it stops, it can do that. But a plane has to go a long course.
Sure, they loop. They always and only loop.
Yeah, they always loop.
The filmmakers captured wonderful, clear, detailed shots of the ornithopter's wings powering up, which they could do because, again, CGI. Not so easy in real life, though. How do you record a dragonfly's flight?
Yes, we use high-speed video cameras. Dragonflies, as we talked about before, moves incredibly fast. And their wings flap up and down about 40 hertz, so 40 times per second. And so to film them, we use a high-speed video camera recording, say, at 2,000 frames per second. That gives us 50 data points or 50 sort of snapshots of what they're doing during each wing beat.
What were you doing on your, I was looking through your papers, what was it when you had the dragonfly in a 3D? Mm-hmm. What was that?
Okay, so in order to track them, we need to use at least 2 cameras to track their wing motion in 3D. So we live in a 3-dimensional world. And imagine, so what we do is we put markers on the wing and we track those dots so that those dots will leave a trace in the 3-dimensional space. And if you track multiple dots, they also give you the orientation of the wing when they fly in air.
Because they're moving in this super complex pattern. The wings are not up and down, up and down, up and down.
That's right. It's a combination of up and down and also twisting or rotating.
It's a lot of math, Jane. It's a lot of math.
Love it. That's why it's so fast.
And that it's exciting math?
Both, actually. What got me in, actually, it had to do with their mysterious quality. Yeah. And it's beautiful. And if in fact, when I first think about dragonflies, I don't think I've ever seen a dragonfly in real life, except seeing them in images. And I'm a city person, and I started studying dragonflies actually in New York City, here at Cornell Institute. And there are not many dragonflies to be found. But I think that made it even more attractive because, they're not around us. But mathematically, it was challenging, and I was in a math institute, so that was very appropriate to solve these the Navier-Stokes equation we were describing before.
You should come to Brooklyn. We have dragonflies.
Yes, this summer, in fact, I found many dragonflies, and there are quite a few experiments here in the city. So now, many years later, I'm finding them in the city.
Interesting, very interesting on all kinds of levels. Are you finding any potential real-world applications for the mechanics of dragonfly flight?
Insect flight actually has inspired many research in robotics. So people around the world are trying to mimic, create little machines that mimic insect flight. So they're at various scales: robotic bees, robotic dragonfly, robotic bats, and robotic birds. And one of the challenges, actually there are at least two challenges. One is trying to have them carry their own battery. So going back to our first question, efficiency is very, so the actual real insects are extremely efficient, and it's very hard for us to create counterparts as efficient as the real insect.
It doesn't do us much good to have a small thing that can't carry a camera or a...
It might become possible, in fact, soon. That is, we now have these quadrupes you've seen, they certainly carry cameras. But I think it's a fascinating challenge for the scientists to go and look for engineering solutions to solve that problem.
Do you think that we, a human being, is always going to just weigh too much to have wings that flap or move like an insect because of all the issues that we've discussed?
That's right. There is a size limit. So if you look at all the animal flight, there is a size limit. So the bigger ones you can think of, these are big birds, and that gives you an indication how big they can go. And we are indeed a little too big for that. But having said that, personally for me, I think one of the biggest impact they had on us, on human history, is that they were the pioneers of flight. They were the insects are the first to discover aerial flight. And without seeing them, without seeing birds,
right,
I don't imagine we can invent planes as we did.
Their role as inspiration.
Absolutely. That, I think, is most profound. So we are no longer 2D creatures. We became also a 3D global travelers.
If they can take to the air, we can take to the air.
Eventually, yes.
Okay, it's not about the Dune movie, but looking through your papers, I noticed that you're investigating why butterflies flit and moths fly like they're on their way to a meeting.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, I do not know why, but physically, if you have, for a butterfly, if you just simply look at them, they're almost disc-like. So the wings are big compared to the body, and they have lots of inertia. And as they flap up and down, the body also oscillates quite a bit. And so they almost like they're falling in air all the time, a very erratic flight. But for the moth, the wings tend to be a little more slender, and they don't have this big hind wing. And as a result, they actually can fly a little bit straighter. Now, one can speculate why each of them find this solution versus the other, but I think we really don't know.
But the math is always going to make the butterfly flit because
that's right. So that's physics, meaning that the weight of the wing relative to body is very high in the case of butterfly compared to dragonfly, for example. So dragonfly is also capable of flying straight. Yeah, so it has to do with physics in the end.
Jane, thank you so much for spending time with us, but we're always the tragedy of being out of time. Hope you come back.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you for all your questions.